Chapter 19. I spent most of my youth as a church member. During that time, there were dozens and dozens of opportunities for friendship. Those opportunities were outside the church, however, which meant by church rules they had to be passed up. Friends had to be in church. The church social classes from Chapter 17 played a part here and prevented most friendships. Since I was in the On Fire church class, my friends had to be on fire too. Friendship invitations from the core member class were politely declined. The secret rebel class tended to be standoffish, likely because they didn't want me to push them to be on fire. Meanwhile, most of the On Fire members had some worldly or subpar quality about them and were rejected. Rejecting friendships had become second nature, and I thought nothing of it. In over a decade, I only found a dozen peers who were true candidates for friendship. Of those, only 3 seemed truly on fire, and 2 of them were of the opposite gender. We weren't allowed to be close friends with people of the opposite gender unless we were courting, so there was only one person available, and we became friends. Over the next few years, we hung out at youth events and carpooled to youth services. This person became my best friend, and I thought we had a close relationship. I didn't realize things never went beyond surface-level Bible discussions and retelling events from school and church. We both participated in the ministries, which we had in common. We were pushed to speak, sing, play instruments, and expand the number of jobs we did in the church. I mostly got out of this by saying I needed to study for school. I was the only person in the church with ambitions to go to a university, so that excuse tended to work. There was pressure to go to an unaccredited Bible college, but I thought it was below me and wouldn't bring me financial independence. My friend was convinced, however, to abandon thoughts of university and go to Bible college. Even though the quality of education was low by many standards, it brought prestige within the church. Weeks after my friend left, my calls were returned slowly and conversation always centered around exclusive Bible college things. Weeks more and we hardly spoke. Bible college was a church subculture that isolated its members by purportedly giving them knowledge others wouldn't understand. My friend visited the church during a break. All we heard was about how deep and superior the esoteric college concepts were. No one could relate anymore. The other members talked and joked about the former friend, saying Bible college ideas were ridiculous. Some of the concepts didn't even make sense to the pastor, which the friend implied was because the pastor hadn't gone to Bible college. No one ever insulted the pastor's power with God, and it didn't sit well. The pressure to go to Bible college had backfired. Now there would be pressure for young people to not go to any college, and instead become workers at the church. My closest relationship faded away at the drop of a hat, leaving only much younger people to call friends. That said, I wasn't terribly bothered by all of this, and never shed a single tear. I just went deeper with God in prayer. At one point I spent more time talking to God than I did to human beings. A lot of my peers gave off a strange vibe that I wasn't interested in being around. Although I might have given off a similar vibe, I was well liked outside of church. Somehow outsiders took an interest in me in spite of my clothing and intensely Christian views. I kept my distance from them though, except to convert them. That suited me well since I wasn't a very social person. But was that really true? Many years after leaving the church, I looked in an old high school yearbook and found a photo between 2 of the pages. I barely recognized the person, but I was shocked when I read the note on the back. "Hey, I'm glad I got to know you, you're so awesome. I hope you have a great year and I hope we stay in touch. Never let anyone change who you are, love ya." I was overcome with a profound sadness, and in that moment it hit me. I had never known real friendship during my years in the church. What's more, I saw that people outside the church had actually cared about me, but I pushed them away. Eventually I remembered receiving that photo. I knew when I received it that I could never accept because of the On Fire church class rules. My first inclination was to coldly throw it in the garbage, but some part of me wanted to hold on, so instead I quickly threw it in between the pages of the book, and pushed it out of my mind. Essentially, I had no real friends during my time in the United Pentecostal Church. Friendship was based on performance and dissolved as soon as one of the friends' church classes no longer matched up. For the On Fire, church friendships were shallow, judgmental, and fragile. Just like we were. Next, I learn about the church power classes and how power sets the stage for corruption.